Yo. Step into a world where there's no one else. Do you know that tune?
Yeah.
Krs-one, Step into a world. I used to breakdance to that one. That was my that. If I think of breakdance days, yeah, that was my tune. Step into a world, Krs-one.
I'll tell you what that tune always reminds me of. Method Man and Mary J. Blige. You're all I need to get better. It's got that same kind of
very airy.
Yeah, to get better.
What a tune. Yo, hey, we might as well get it started like this, yeah?
Yeah, bro.
That was a good intro. We're already talking. We're already active in the barbershop. This is what we do. Yo, this is the pilot, man. Not even the first episode. This is the pilot. Mako behind the camera and the production. This is the pilot of the Walk-In podcast.
This is it.
This is the Walk-In podcast.
You're going to have to forgive me if you see me making some strange movements like this and that. It's because I carry a lot of tension up in my shoulders. So I'm trying to release the stress, as it were.
You know, it's funny. I just picked him up from the GP. I don't know what's been going on, but you blessed guys.
Which
I had to wait 45 minutes in Burnt Oak, yeah? In Burnt Oak to get him from the GP. I'm just making random phone calls because I'm bored in the car, man. Yeah. I'm a bit of a claustrophobic guy. Being in the car for too long is not it, man.
Listen, we're just trying. We're trying to maintain, you know what I mean? This is life in our 30s. This is what happens. The knees start creaking. The back goes, but you know what I mean? We maintain. We're there.
Yeah, how you been, man, Jay?
I can't complain. We give thanks.
We give thanks.
We give thanks. That's the main thing. Yeah. What about yourself?
Bless, man, bro. The plan was this morning, to be honest. Mako, he hollered me like last week. He said, when we're going to do a collab. And I was like, yeah, I'm down, man. And the first thing I thought about was doing a haircut tutorial. And a couple of people reached out. At the end, it didn't really work out because a few people were meant to send me pictures of the current haircut, so I know what I'm kind of doing and I've got some direction, but they never send me the pictures, and I'm a bit of a disciplined guy. I like my stuff on time, you know. And then they never sent me the pictures, so I was panicking last night. I was like, what are we doing tomorrow? And for the last 2-3 years, I've been thinking about doing a podcast, and it never really happened.
So you pivoted then, because the important thing is survival of the most adaptable. Not survival of the fittest. Survival of the most adaptable. Trust. So
not the fittest.
Yeah, you pivoted quick like that. Yeah,
I think was that tune again? MOB? No, Mob Deep. Survival of the fittest. I think they had it. Was it Survival of the fittest?
Yeah.
So you have to get onto them now.
That's it.
Survival of the
most adaptable.
I like
Nature
that.
Always proves that. It's not survival. If it was survival of the fittest,
the
dinosaurs would still be here because no one was rougher and tougher than them.
That's big. It
couldn't adapt.
There's some conspiracy theories out there now going, they didn't exist in the first place, but that's another topic. We'll leave that for another day. But yeah, man, the concept behind it was we've been talking in the barbershop a lot, over the years, 8 years of conversation, and I feel like these conversations have to be out there. And I feel like having an empty chair and someone being able to walk into the podcast keeps it dynamic, keeps it fresh, and also keeps us on our toes with our opinions, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to just invite people for the sake of inviting them and them not being legit checked like we do with trainers.
Yeah.
Making sure there's another opinion,
a
random opinion, keeps us on our toes as well, rather than just talking for like 30 minutes, you know?
Balanced, isn't it?
Balanced. Yeah, man. How do we meet, Jay, man? That's where I want to start.
We met, it was in Burnt Oak.
Yeah.
So it's in the ends, it's not far. There was another establishment there that we were in. No, it was on the strip in Burnt Oak.
Yeah, opposite the station.
See, it goes back. Every time I think of the first time we met, I realize it goes back. Yeah. So I remember now, I walked in, came to get a trim, and I remember there was there was no barbers in there. I was like, and I remember you were in there.
Yeah. Must have been early before work as well for you, maybe. Potentially.
I think so.
Because the other barbers used to come at 11, 12. They used to rock up and work till midnight or something.
Now that you say that, I think that's what it was.
Could be. It could be. If no one was there, that means because they come in late and they work their way, you know?
Yeah.
Big up W2, by the way. Big up Pepe Chief.
Yeah.
Waki. Okay. Big up them, man. That's where it will start. That's the first time I worked in a barbershop where I rented a chair.
Okay.
So that was me going on a new venture of renting out a chair, man.
True, man.
So that was a big shift really in my barbering path.
See, because I don't think I even clocked you at first. I think I was just in there like what going on? Where is everyone? And then I think you jumped up. No, I think somebody else asked, and then you told them, nah, they're not in, sort of thing.
Okay.
And then and I think they ducked out, and I think it was just me left. And then you were like you trimming. And I was like, bro, let's do it.
Yeah.
Jump, and then the rest is history, bro.
Yeah. And then after that, did you come to Hollywood as well?
That's
the Edgeware shop. So from Burnt Oak, went to Hollywood.
That's it. Exactly.
And then here.
That's it. Boom.
Risk Barbers, the first. I don't even like calling it Risk Barbers. I just like to call it Risk because the barber shop is like the main stage, but behind that, there's so much more.
Yeah, I know.
There's so much more. So
I know.
Like the biggest compliment I've ever gotten is from my boy Ardo. He goes, "I see Risk as hip hop with all the elements."
It is. That's
we have like the DJing, graffiti, rap, and what's the fourth one?
It's got different tenets to it, man.
So there's 4 elements, and I feel like Risk is slightly the same. There's
facts.
There's the events element, there's the clothing, there's barbering, and there's so much more to it.
We did a lot. We're doing this. We did comedy shows, flipping because even here, bro, I remember it wasn't even day 1. It was like day 0, day -5. I remember in here it was nothing. It was
empty.
It was just concrete.
It was a butcher's before.
Is that what it was before?
Yeah, butcher's. There was a rat, bro. When I moved in here,
I swear.
Dead round the floor, smell of meat. Yeah, it was mad.
Okay.
It was mad. Yeah.
I remember.
So
I think I even got a trim in here like that, man.
Yeah, early days, people used to come because I needed to make money, bro. I invested almost my all into this.
That was
I needed to get by. So and sometimes it's mad. Yeah, I used to open the gates for like an hour or two just for people to see.
I remember
me trimming on a computer chair that was left here.
That's why even when I'm here, I try to. Even now, when I just got in, I was trying to remember exactly how it was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Before the floor.
The grey tiles.
I just remember it was just concrete. That's what it was. It was just concrete. I remember that. Nothing else in there. Like
nothing. It was
trill.
mash up.
Just in here just getting the trim. That was trill.
Yeah.
That was the grittiest. Yeah, that was hard. Yeah.
And so the reason I invited you as well, Jay, to this particular podcast, and just not even a podcast, just a conversation in general, is we always spoke on a deeper level, I feel. And I learn a lot from you. And I don't like to use the word woke because it's a bit saturated and overused now, but a conscious person. That's how I like to see you. So for this podcast, for me, it's not. Sometimes I see, and everyone can do their own thing, I respect everyone's thing. But for me, it's not about inviting people with the followers, with some people that made it in life. For me, it's all about stories, And if you don't ask the auntie that works in the hospital or a cleaner or it could be someone that's struggling in life, you don't learn all the lessons, all the you need
gems, jewels,
I like to keep it rounded and just learn from everyone, young and old, and that's what we do as barbers. And this is why I like having even OAPs come into the shop, over 65s. They tell me about stuff, bro. I never knew that Cricklewood used to be like full of Irish people. You know what I mean? Full of Irish people. They used to have their own places where they get together as a community. So I didn't know that until I spoke to a man that's in his 70s that told me about the past,
Facts. And I learned that from that same generation. They'll tell you, like anybody from that generation, they'll tell you that that's the history of Cricklewood, Willesden, all of them places were like that. Trust.
And Jay was the first one, by the way. Told me about distilled water.
Is it?
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
You invested in the machine, right?
I did, bro.
And it would be like it was alkaline water, distilled water. I think you were one of the first people that would actually tell me about these things.
One of the best investments I ever made in my life. That's what anybody listening, anybody watching, free game, distilled water. Distilled water. What could be more important than what you put in your body? And
what you are. 70 to 80% of what you are.
I'm telling you, distilled water, man. Just do it. Don't even worry about it. You can look into it yourself by all means, but trust me, you can't go wrong.
What's the pH balance of distilled water?
It's alkaline, so it's going to be 7.
7?
Yeah.
So when is it still alkaline? When it's 7?
When it's 7, yeah. So below that is going like acid. Yeah. Above that is alkaline, but if it's too alkaline, it's gonna give it a funky taste. Like you won't like it. You don't want it to be too.
So if I do have bottled water, like this one's obviously unbranded, but if I have bottled water that's close to 7,
I think
good enough?
Yeah, that's what I used to go for when I used to have bottled water. Because I know Saka water used to be something like 8 or something like that, so that was good. The other ones are not. Some of them are like they're like below. Like
okay, so you'll be below. So what's that machine called then? If
it's just called a distiller.
Distiller.
It's literally called a distiller. All it does is just collect the evaporated water. So you know, like if you boil water, it makes steam.
Yes.
That steam, it just catches it.
Yeah.
So then it
I'm
turns
guessing
back to water.
the process of boiling it makes it cleaner.
It makes it cleaner,
right?
So it leaves out all the metals, all the heavy metals, all the toxins, the impurities, the bacteria. All of that gets left behind. It can't go with the steam in it. So the steam comes up, it's pure. It captures that water, comes down. That's pure water. That's what it is.
Mad.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, man. So these are the type of gems that we want to share as well. I don't even want to dedicate episodes to this because I just want to put them out, you know, just put these things out. I don't want to do full episodes about what you should be drinking. This is the type of stuff you'll be hearing. Culture, a bit of everything, a bit of health if possible. You know, why not? Right?
I'm telling you.
You just said hi to the neighbor as well. This is what I love about this thing. The boys are at the back. We got Nori Risk there doing the shape up, Kubalai, Risky Ray. Make sure you follow them as well. All started here, Risk Barber Academy. And yeah, man, they're growing. They're doing well. They're doing their thing, making their clientele.
Yes,
growing. That's what we do, man.
Yes, boy.
Yeah, I'm proud, man.
Yeah,
I'm proud. We've come a long way.
Innit? So, all right. So you mentioned where we met, coming all the way up to this point, innit? But like, what's new and popping? Like, what since the last time we bucked up? What's been new with you?
So last time I saw you was like a year and a half ago. And funny to mention, by the way, I don't know if we just mentioned this. I called you literally this morning. I called him this morning. I said, okay, there's a few people that could be on this. A few people that are not going to make it because it was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we started at 12 today.
Yeah.
So you were one of those people, but I haven't seen you for a year and a half. But sometimes when I'm driving past, I see you walking on the highway. I'm like, that's Jay. And it's like in your heart, you say, bless up. I hope you're blessed, my bro, and you keep it driving. But the love is there. But so ever since, I think a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
After COVID,
yeah,
maybe.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So it is. Yeah.
After COVID, what's been happening really is I've been focusing more on. You see, back in the day, we'd go to comedy shows, support other people's thing, which I still do. But everything is a bit more internal for me now. Like if I can make this thing work within the shop and give people opportunities here, then slowly we can do more on the outside world. Okay. You know, so I started becoming a bit more internal with the whole movement, thinking how can I develop and also look after myself first. Almost. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when we started the Risk Barber Academy. So that turned into like an official thing. So now you got people signing up for an academy within the shop, 6 months. And after the 6 months, we do a little review. If they're happy, I'm happy. We can continue on, and it becomes like a working relationship almost, you know?
Right, okay.
Where they're self-employed, they do their thing, but they're representing Risk as a movement, as a brand. And so that was one.
Yeah.
And the refurb, man, bro, this whole orange concept, we just finished it maybe 2-3 months ago.
Okay.
No, sorry, 2-3 months, 2-3 weeks.
Is it? So it's even fresh.
Yeah. You remember before it was grey, black?
That's what it was, yeah.
And now we've added a bit of colour to it.
Yeah, I'm seeing lights. Yeah, man, it's nice. What was the thinking behind it?
So for me, working in a shop for 4 years, where it's a bit dark, the black and grey. Obviously, the Risk brand is black and white.
Yeah.
Risk has always been black and white. The Risk, like first 15 t-shirts were black and white. Risk is my currency in black and white. So that was the original color. And then slowly working in one space for a long time, you want to have change. It's healthy for the brain, you know.
That's right.
And I said to myself, I need to brighten up the space. And I'm into colors, I'm into like the vibrations and the meanings behind colors and stuff. Like I've always been into it, you know.
That's a whole science behind that,
right? So I said I need to brighten it up, but I don't want to do white. I don't want to do green. I don't want to do anything that's played out. And what's close to my heart is Holland. Because that's where I grew up, the Netherlands, you know. Nederland. Yeah, goed Nederlands. Yeah, and obviously, what's the color of Holland? It's orange. It's orange. A vibrant color. It makes you happy almost.
It does. It's a warm color, man.
Yeah, it's welcoming as well. And since I've done it, bro, I feel different. Literally, I've come into the shop feeling different.
It's got a different vibe to it.
You know, and I took the little personal, the orange space there where I'm trimming.
Just offset it there.
It's because of like I want to feel like I'm working somewhere new. Like people think, oh, small business coming in every day, this is that. After a while, you also want to change within your landscape.
Facts, keeps you inspired and stuff like that. New energy. That's big. No, you done well.
Love. Yeah, so that's the story behind the orange, man, bro. Bright color, Holland, Netherlands.
So you came up with that by yourself?
Well, the color I did, and my cousin's husband, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm blessed. He was the one that built the shop in the first place, so I shouted him. He happened to be free.
Okay.
Thank God. And he said, let's make it happen. So he's the kind of guy that implements the vision. Like, for example, Mako here behind the camera. Like, I'm the guy with the idea, but I always love to team up with people that are passionate in their fields.
Yeah.
Because I'm an ideas man.
Yeah, so you can delegate to the the specialists, innit?
The specialist.
Makes sense.
And that's what it is. If I'm going to start doing building works, I'm a barber, that's what I do. I write a bit of poetry on the side, and you know what I mean? I used to do other little things, but construction and stuff is not my forte, you know?
Yeah, you're the man that can knit it together, the glue, as they say.
Love.
Glue, yeah. Because like the reason why I asked that is because typically the ladies are they really excel when it comes to, I don't know what the word is. I know you lot who are listening, I know you lot are probably screaming at me, but I know there's like a word or a term for that kind of science for like color, the use of color in spaces and lights and stuff like that. Because one thing I noticed about us we're kind of slightly, no disrespect when it comes to, let me speak for myself. Slightly retarded when it comes to colors, isn't it? Like, you see them lot, they know colors like on a deeper level. Like,
it's
for
like
example,
soft.
If we look at that, right? I would say green. They won't, if you check it, they won't say green. They'll say the exact shade of what that is. You see what I'm saying? So like when if they send us to go somewhere like, oh, go get this paint, blah, 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 right? They know exactly what they're talking about, whether it's like makeup, their nails,
Bro, this
clothes,
is so funny saying that. I just thought,
we don't know nothing like that.
I've got proof of this.
Is it?
My wife, when I said I want to go for orange, she didn't say orange afterwards. She's like, go for a tangerine. And I went to Dulux, Mill Hill. Big up those people. I don't know the name, by the way. And guess the color that I chose. Tangerine twist.
Come on.
And I was just be like orange.
Exactly.
I'm like Dutch color orange. She said, no, go for like a tangerine.
We'd go in there and say orange, innit?
Nah, facts. Hey, you can copy me, by the way. You can just go for your tangerine. If you like this color, tangerine twist, do your thing.
Trademark.
I'm not a blueprint, bro.
Facts. No,
as long as you bring in the blueprint. Back in the day, I used to, like, because in breakdance days, when I was a b-boy, I was like 13 at the time, like, copying would do this.
Oh,
it means you biting.
Oh, sugar,
biting.
Really?
But
that's
now I'm getting a bit older, and I saw this Imam. I think he was doing a little lecture. I think it was an Instagram thing or a little reel or stuff. He said that you're sharing your creativity is an act of charity.
Oh no, it is.
And that's when I was that broke my previous mentality of this is my thing.
You know what that is? You raised a very big point, because you see when you say it broke that, I bet you that gave you a whole sense of liberation, because what you realize is that as a creative person, because I know you're creative and you always have ideas, right? Is that you realize that they're limitless. You don't have a finite amount of ideas. So when you have like an abundant mindset, you don't mind sharing. You don't mind expressing, because it's like if we got a bunch of candles here and I take one candle and I light the other candle, this first candle has not lost any flame by doing that. You see what I'm saying? But people who don't understand an abundant mindset, they're very still closed off, like, mine this section, because you don't understand that it's not that particular idea, it's you, because you are tapped in. You're literally like a tap to creativity. God is channeling and working through you. There's no limit. Do you know what I'm saying?
No,
so it don't matter. Someone could, even if you have an idea, someone could take your idea and take that baton and run off with it. And
you're not in control of that anyway.
There you go.
Because if it's far enough and you don't have a trademark in that country or a pattern in that country,
your connection is here
done anyway.
To the source. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's limitless in its coming. That's what I'm saying. But it takes us a while to realize that. You know what I mean?
And I think purpose as well is such a unique thing to yourself. Absolutely. Same way we are blessed with our own unique fingerprint, that even twins apparently twins don't have the same fingerprint. You know,
there's a lot of things that
you know.
that, yeah.
So
that
so your
differentiate
story,
us.
your soul, your everything is unique already. So if
Absolute
you
fact.
derive your inspiration and your creativity from your own yourself, and obviously understand that, like you said, God's blessing is abundant, and limitless.
There you go.
Then and it did change something in me, because I was, how to say, greedy, but I used to like to hold on to, this is mine, don't copy my thing. I would actually go up to people, say, if I would see something, I'd be like, yo bro, don't do that. And I would, like a graffiti artist, and you know, you tag over someone's piece and they're like, yo, did you just tag over my piece? But he was just looking for a wall, it happened to be your piece, and if anything, you could see it as adding another layer of art to art.
That's the duality of it, because once you've done that, once you've made that switch, you now see it in a different way. Your mind is expanded, and it's like, really, you can't go back now to that way of thinking before. Do you know what I'm saying? Now you're seeing it as like, do you know what? I'm tapped to an infinite source of creativity. Him doing that doesn't really take away from my art form. Like it was always there. Do you know what I'm saying? It was always there. My expression was it. I already expressed. Do you know what I'm saying? I already gave that contribution to the world already, and that art you just added on top of it. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is.
And also, if you think about it, it's also the human learning curve, right? Facts. Without our ancestors, without them doing whatever they were doing, we would never be here.
Absolutely.
You know, so we need to humble ourselves as humans sometimes, and like we're just a small piece in this universe, like less than a drop in this universe, and it's so much bigger than us. So if we just play our part, that will make society like a better place, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It's what they call that interconnectedness.
Interconnectedness. So this is why I like J, man. This is why he's here today. I just go here for the big words, cause man.
Interconnectedness. The thing is, you say that, right? But when you hear that word, I bet you already know what it means. Instantly, when you hear that, you kind of know. Intuitively, you know what that means.
Yeah, but you see me, English is like my third language. So when I hear these words, I'm like, I'm gonna use that next week. Like the first time I heard peculiar, bro, I was like,
You're like, I like that word.
So, peculiar sounds a bit French. Peculiar.
You see what I mean? I like words, you know. I'm into words.
Yeah, you're a poet, and that's why.
I'm into words.
True wordsmith, man.
Yeah, I'm into words. I love words. That takes me to thingy. I don't even have to look into my phone, because I'm not even prepared, but we're semi-prepared, one thing that has been inspired me once again to get together with people, because we've been having certain conversations in the shop that have triggered me in a positive way, and there's a lot of things triggering me all the time in negative ways in this modern day where everything is a bit I don't know, the vibes are a bit funny since COVID and It was the World Cup did this to us. It was like a happy time for me personally.
Nah, World Cup was
the barbershop vibes were back. Honestly, back.
Did you enjoy the World Cup?
Gee, it was so good,
bro. Let me tell you something.
So good. And also being Muslim, bro, and the world hating on it. Yeah,
thank you.
And I was like, thank you. In your face.
Do you know what it is? You know what I mean? Leading up to that World Cup, right? All of the bad talk, the negative energy, the hypocrisy, and all of that stuff, like aimed at Qatar and that region of the world and stuff like that. I constantly found myself having to like check people's thinking, like, because I'm like, you need to be careful about adopting, you know, these ways of thinking and stuff like that. Like, it's
It just like all the negativity healthy. Was in a ball, and it just got slapped like in every single way. It was like put into this Kamehameha ball, and it just, you know, when it diverts it, just out of the way because of the games that were played. You see what I mean?
That's one part of it. But before the games even heated up, really they were banging from like the first game. The organization, right, was just impeccable. No trouble, no issues, no nothing. Like the most impeccably behaved tournament I've ever seen.
100.
Right? The vibes off the charts without the need of alcohol or anything like that. Not even knocking it, but you know, like there was a lot of talk about, oh, it's gonna be dead. The vibes are this now. It's gonna be too hot. Nothing like that was the case. State of the art stadiums, brilliant architecture, beautiful. Let me personally shout out the people of Qatar. Those people, legit. Are some nice people. They are literally the nicest people.
Handing out food and stuff. They were handing out food. They were doing
because I've had some situations throughout my life. It's only when the World Cup actually kicked off that I actually thought, hold on, I've had run-ins with Qatari people before in my life, like in there in the country. How can I forget that? Them people are mad nice. Like, do you know what I mean? So all that negativity coming into that World Cup, and then it just banged like that. Have the best tournament ever.
Yeah. Potentially even one of the best finals ever.
Poetic
I'm not a football pundit or anything like that. That was a good final. I was just upset that Holland didn't make it, bro. Like, so when you don't have like the connection with the team that you want to win, it was a good final. But I didn't have that.
Do you know it was?
My team won. I wish it was the case.
I felt like that as well, But do you know how I took it? I took it as like, well and truly, football is a great analogy for this, right? You can't have it all your own way, and you don't want to have it all your own way. That's what makes it beautiful and 100%. Epic and poetic. Do you know what I mean? That's what you're here for. Imagine if you're watching football, right, and you supported a team and they never lost a match. Like, would you even still like football? Like,
it's true.
Dead. Like,
winning is not. Winning is not.
It's
winning without losing is not winning as well.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. All of that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's what makes it.
That's what makes it epic. Like that. It's like, you know, that is really the beautiful game.
And then next time you might win.
Thank you.
You might go further. That's all.
Because I'm tuning in for that next World Cup simply for one reason alone. To see Argentina lose.
I was France side, man, bro.
I wanted France to win so bad.
All day.
So bad.
Funny enough, a side of me and a side of some people was like, oh, France is a racist country, this is that. But then, you know, when you play football somewhere in Collindale with a French brother or Romanian brother, football is football at the end of the day. We all love football. So I think slightly it's good to keep the politics aside sometimes, bro, and just focus on the game, because that's what we do on the pitch when we're playing Kingsbury Cage or wherever it is. You just leave the politics to the side. And also, every single country has a problem, cuz, man.
Facts.
England, we could never organize no tournament if we're going to go deep. But I don't want to go too deep into that stuff because I'm trying to keep it positive because I'm going to get triggered. Man's a Iraqi, bro. I'm going to get triggered.
I'll tell you what it is. That represents, right, the duality of all things. And I think that's what the sales pitch of FIFA is, right? Is that you can look at it and say like there are political aspects to sport and to the football, right? Colonialism, imperialism, racism, all of these things, right? Cultural bias, xenophobia, all these things, right? But at the same time, on the pitch, like those players and that, they have very little to do with that as individuals. These are kind of institutional problems, right? But they are all there. So when you're looking at the whole picture, because some people choose to focus on that side, they choose to focus on the racism side or whatever. Some people completely deny that side and say, no, it has no place in sport, it's not there. Act like it doesn't exist at all, right? But when you actually look at it and just accept everything for what it is and see that things operate on different levels and stuff, like I said, it just makes for an epic picture. You're looking at it like, you know what, that is actually sick. Because my brethren tried to say, that has nothing to do with, because I was like, yeah, you know what, France, I brought up France's colonial past. My brethren was like, that's got nothing to do with them, man. That's also on the pitch. Argentina, let's not forget. We all know that. The first ever World Cup, I'm pretty sure it was hosted in Argentina when it was still a dictatorship. So if we want to go deep, we can go. All of those things are there. They're all there. So if you want to look, I love the fact that you're mentioning the different layers of things, because recently I saw this thing called the Roman circus. It was like a theory. And the man was saying the reason why footballers get paid so much is to keep the rest of the population busy, and like to feel like your son can make it or I can make it. So it's deep, but I do always believe whether it's like COVID or control or all these mechanisms and stuff, God is the greatest planner of all. So at the end of the day, it can literally be a football game on the pitch that makes people happy, and like the reverse effect of the people that want to control us can actually happen in a positive way. So do you see the layers of things? You see, when you're looking at that, and once you have a mind that can see everything like that, it just makes it. It's a headache sometimes, though. It is. Because I'm, devil's advocate, then I'm for, against, and I go back and forth. That's the duality. That's the human being. That's the human being. I go back and forth. You're in a blessed position that you can see that. Keep in mind that there's people out there, a lot of people that can only see things one way. They can only see things. It's like you here now, and you can see all these different colors, but you got people out here that can only see red. You see what I'm saying? So you're blessed. So in that. You think ignorance is not bliss? It is not bliss. It's not bliss. It is not bliss. Consciousness is bliss. I think bliss comes from acceptance, right? So what you are conscious of, what you see, and how much you can accept it without fighting it and stuff like that. That's where your bliss comes from. From inside. You see what I'm saying? So once if you try to only see things one way and only try to oversimplify and make things black and white, that's not a guarantee of bliss. Do you know what I mean? It's similarly like if you think of violence, right? If two people are fighting, or if one person attacks another person, and the person who's being attacked doesn't fight back, that's not peace. That doesn't mean that they're a peaceful person. Because there's already violence in that scenario. You see what I'm saying? Them not fighting back doesn't mean that they're not peaceful in a sense. It's
I get you.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I get you.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, man. So this was the most positive thing of the last year, I would say 2022, in terms of a big event, people feeling good again. It was the World Cup, and that created a discussion within the barbershop of top 5 athletes / sports people of all time. And so today I want to go through my top 3. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion as well here in the shop. A lot of people had different opinions. So I'm trying to get your top 3 of all time, man.
Top 3 athletes, period, right?
And athletes, it could be a sports person. It could be because athletes. What defines an athlete? I'm not 100% sure.
I would say a sports person. Yeah,
sports person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1.
Because actually, sorry, some people like, for example, chess is a sport. Like pool is a sport. So I don't know if there's a difference, but
I have no problem adding those.
It's subjective.
Yeah.
Subjective.
Yeah. Hui.
And I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay. I would say number 1.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders above all others.
Head and shoulders, yeah.
Head and shoulders above all others.
I don't get too comfortable because this might get disputed as well. You know.
Of course, but it's there to be.
There's
nothing
people
else to be
listening
disputed.
here at the back, you know.
Number 1.
Yeah.
This person, I was gonna say a word, and this person is actually already synonymous with this word. I bet if I say the word, that.
Okay, you're gonna go
greatest. If I say the word greatest, and we're thinking about sportsmen, I think people already know who I'm really talking about. The greatest.
Boy, are we gonna do this thing?
The greatest. If I say,
it
might as well be his surname.
Hey, man, applause afterwards as well. If it's a good one,
of course. It's a great answer. Yeah? The greatest sportsman of all time was a man who was born Cassius Clay, and he went on to be known as Muhammad Ali. That is the greatest. Ali,
of course, man, bro. And I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of young people are gonna be against this. I don't know if anyone has a different opinion at the back here, but okay. No, I share that with you.
Yeah.
Number 2.
This person is his peer. I think that this person here is the only one who can stand shoulder to shoulder.
I'm loving the way you're
shoulder
doing
to shoulder.
This is not a podcast, bro. This is a movie.
This is the only man who can stand shoulder to shoulder, equal footing, and look this man in the eye.
Okay.
Right? And that name that he was born with, in typical fashion to his country and his culture, he has about 5 different names. I can't remember. But the world knows him by one single name. 4 letters. And that is Pele. Pele, yeah.
Rest in peace, Pele, man.
Rest in peace, Pele.
Al-Fatiha.
Rest in peace to the GOAT Pele, man. I think he is number 2. He has to be number 2 for me. We're talking about the biggest, the greatest, the grandest sport that we have.
Sorry, I have to do a quick prayer. Yeah. I don't know him very well. I don't know him very well, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was born in 91. Should I know him better than I do?
I think everybody, because these people
when were you born, Jay? If you don't mind me asking.
85.
85. So in your time,
he was way before my time. When I was around, I just about caught Maradona.
Yeah.
Just about caught Maradona. And
Pele, number 2, yeah?
Number 2.
Big.
Number 2.
Reason?
We're talking about football's the biggest sport worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
right? He elevated the game to the heights that we know it now.
So what are your heights? What do you mean?
As in it's the world's game.
Okay.
It's the world's game, right? Like in terms of sport, it's the biggest sport and everything like that. And he was a huge factor in that.
Yeah.
And he achieved things that, this is when you know that people are really, 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 really great. Is that he's achieved things that not only did his contemporaries at the time, his peers, not be able to match when he was playing, but it took decades and decades and decades for people to achieve similar feat to him. Like we're talking about, when people talk about the GOATs of football, you're talking about Messi, Ronaldo, and that's because they won so many trophies and they scored so many goals.
Yeah.
They literally only just caught up to this man in terms of his goal scoring. It wasn't that long ago. It was a few years.
Crazy.
Right? And because they've done things like that, they are regarded as the GOATs and stuff like that. With him, it wasn't just his scoring feats and stuff like that. He's won 3 World Cups.
Plus, for me, I think the longevity of your legacy is important.
Absolutely.
And this is why I cannot personally put the Messis and Ronaldos in there yet, because of cultural impact, long-lasting impact. So I feel like
Facts.
Muhammad Ali, for me as a person, going through the struggles that he went through,
these people are
in the midst of civil rights movement, and speaking up like he did, like a man, which is at that time, speaking up the way he did was probably scarier than now in the realms of what he was speaking about. And to me, bro, that's I can only get inspired by that, and it can only like
you're talking about
motivate me to do better.
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about putting your life on the line.
Yeah.
Right, and that is really big, because it's not just about your ability and your feats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you were the best, you were the GOAT, you were all these things, but that was just a mere platform for you to come through and do your actual real working.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And these people, like I said, they're transcendent. They go beyond the actual
sport. It's not even sport.
It's not sport. They go beyond the sport that they were actually in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why those two stand head and shoulders.
I agree. My number 2 personally. Well, no, let me get your number 3 first. Last one. Pick wisely as your last one. You can't go back.
Yeah.
Once it's done, it's sealed.
It's gonna be a 2-parter, right? Number 3, right, is going to be Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, this is where we're gonna.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant is gonna be my number 3.
Rest in peace as well.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
Pele, man. Rest in peace, all 3 of them, man.
Yeah, and Kobe was so recent as well, man. Kobe, because you're looking at somebody who has given a literal blueprint for elite level mentality, thinking, and application success. Right? Those other 2 that I mentioned, 1 and 2, they were great, but they didn't necessarily impart to the world how to be great like that, like how they were. Kobe Bryant, in almost, when you watch his interviews or the things he says, or when people ask him how do you do it, he is so sharp, succinct, and to the point.
Yeah.
It's almost like he is prepared for that question, and he was so with I'm great because of this.
You're actually
and you
can
apply that to any point.
You're actually changing my number 2 or 3,
You
because of what you're saying. Slightly.
Yeah.
Because I had a top 5 originally, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you had just to conclude.
I had Muhammad Ali, Pele, and Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. My number 1, Muhammad Ali, 100. Number 2 is Bruce Lee for me. Woo! Yeah, Bruce Lee. Even though he became a film star later, I then realized that he was the one that brought Chinese martial arts into America.
Yes.
And allowed the Americans and the general public in America, gave them access to it when it was frowned upon by his by the people from his own culture at times. And when I hear him speak, same thing again.
There you go.
Simple things, be like water. It's like, wow.
You see?
And me, fiery person, bro.
Yeah.
And honestly, I take personal advice from
Absolutely.
that as a person. So Bruce Lee is for me my number 2.
Right.
And also just these things like Bruce Lee, big man. And like I said, such a simple thing. Be like water. All these little things they used to say. For me, it was it has to be Bruce Lee for me. And my number 3 has to be see, when you said about Kobe, and him saying hard hitting things that would you would take personally, and you'd feel something towards it, and you're like, yes, I don't have this with this particular person, but in terms of his brand, his relevance till now, people still compare themselves to him now. Is he better? Is he the GOAT? Is he not? Still super relevant even in the realms of culture, whether that's street culture, sport, or hustle type of mentality, because we have been able to make some profit of this person. And I think a lot of young people have been. And I love the fact that young people nowadays can sell anything, and it doesn't have to be a non-legit or non-halal way of doing things. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
MJ the 2-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why when you were speaking about Kobe, and I don't know much about Kobe, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not into basketball like that. But Michael Jordan hasn't done anything personally to me where I'm like, oh, he said something that I think is great or has impacted my life.
Yeah.
But in terms of branding,
yeah,
he's for me one of the biggest
yeah.
brands to ever exist.
No, facts.
And the fact that his brand is slightly, would you say, bigger than him? Like, as in, like, bro, Jordan 11s is a brand.
It is.
Like,
it's almost
the
like
threes and fours are a brand in themselves. So, like, people prefer fours over 11s. And
There's definitely two aspects of it. So you've got him in. It's like he's got two careers essentially. So you've got him on the court side, and then you've got this whole other aspect of it where his brand is just taking life of its own, and it's just gone to the moon.
So for that reason, I think for marketing inspiration and branding inspiration, also the hustle mentality, kids being able to line up and sell something for a profit at 15-year-olds, making doubling their money, flipping their money in a halal way, bro. Beautiful. Yeah. And with his brand, he's obviously big up his design team. Yeah. What's his name? Tinkerfield. Anyone knows? Tinkerfield. Well, his surname is Tinkerfield. That's the guy that came up with some of the designs. Big up them, the whole design team and the people that are behind it. But marketing-wise, I would say, and branding-wise, definitely Michael Jordan for me.
Okay. Yeah. Even like, playing-wise and stuff like that. One thing that the like great sportsmen have, and I heard this. Someone summed it up in a phrase during the World Cup. It was in the World Cup final, and they were talking about Kylian Mbappe, and they said what he did in that final was one of the greatest examples of sporting inevitability. And I think what that means is like, when something is built up, like you've got an event coming up, it's like a final or something like that, right? And it's time for the big players to do the big plays, no matter what. Even though people know it's coming, even when the opposition knows it's coming and the coaches are prepared for it or whatever, and there's still no stop. It's kind of like a Beckham free kick against Greece to get England to the World Cup. Everyone knows Beckham can take free kicks. Everyone knows he's going to bend it top corner. Yeah. But it's injury time. He puts the ball down. Can this man do it? Can he send his country to the World Cup? Puts it down, whips it in the corner, and he does it. That's that inevitability, that kind of writing up in the headlights, like that moment. I think MJ was the man for that. Yeah, he was the man. Because I remember watching the NBA finals back in the day as a youth, and just having my first concept of that. Because I always used to hear the name, I always hear that he's the Don, whatever. And I'm watching the match, and it's in the NBA final, and I'm actually watching him put on properly, like injury time, the buzz is going off, and I was like, raw, man, that's proper. Yeah. That sporting inevitability. I was like, yeah, MJ for that.
And forever, I would say, an icon within the sports clothing. Yeah. Because you have to.
He's the standard, isn't it?
He's made a brand like Nike as big. Well, he gave them that push.
That's true sports branding.
Because before that, I think it was Adidas, all about Adidas.
Facts. Yeah.
Before that, it was all about Adidas. Yeah, he actually wanted to sign with Adidas. No, he would have. Yeah, he originally wanted to sign with Adidas. Yeah. But then I saw in the documentary that his mum said, "Let's see what Nike has to say." And look where they are now. Big up them.
Yeah, it's true.
Big. Yeah. Anyone wants to share the top 3 quickly?
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Come through, Kubi, man. Come through. Yes, man. Our first walk-in. Kubi, one of our barbers. Yes.
Right. So both of your top 3s I didn't hear once about. I don't know if I heard wrong, but Messi or Ronaldo. No one's mentioned. No? What's going on here? Messi or Ronaldo? You're talking about the two greatest. The two greatest footballers. I know you said Pele. Yeah. I know you said Pele, but you're talking about Messi and Ronaldo. Yeah. In today's generation, football nowadays, football has evolved.
Facts.
Everybody right now is good. You're talking about random youngsters just coming out of nowhere, but they're putting numbers that are ridiculous. Look at Mbappe. He came out of nowhere and started doing madness.
Very good.
So it could be top 3 then?
I'm not. All right. For me, Messi and Ronaldo are the top 2. I don't have a third.
That's what I was gonna say. It's gonna. I know the first 2 slots are gonna be taken up.
It's top 3. We didn't say compile a list of 3 and 8.
I do that. I do those top 2.
It's gonna be. Sorry, you're gonna have to pick between Ronaldo and Messi.
I've not got a third. I've not got a top 3. I've only got
1.
Oh, okay. Alright, so number one, initially I am still a Ronaldo. Like he's my personal goat.
But my guy turned up in the
But
World
I've
Cup.
accepted that Messi has cleared the debate.
Yeah.
I've accepted he's cleared the debate.
Wait.
He is the best,
Number one.
the greatest footballer to exist. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ever.
Messi.
He's won everything. And he's played a massive part. Everyone's gonna be like, because he only scored penalties. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you just score penalties, bro.
No, he
Messi-
did. He turned up. Yeah.
Messi, bro, he's the greatest. Ronaldo second. Ronaldo second.
Third.
But third, I'm not talking about this like in general, football, sports in general, right? So Michael Jordan, I think, is number 3. But that's because like he's known as to be like the greatest basketball player of all time.
He is the GOAT.
Yeah, and also like you said in the marketing terms as well, like he's put his brand out there. Jordan 11, Jordan 3, Jordan 4. Like everyone's going nuts about these things, reselling. Like his name is still being mentioned to this day.
Yeah,
and he's not like.
You don't even have to be into sports to like his
This is it.
So
he is the standard.
He's transcended.
You got people that have
sports even.
You got people that have never watched basketball in their life, and they're talking about wearing Jordans. Like you don't know even about the guy, but you're still wearing. Me, I don't watch basketball, but I'm wearing Jordans right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, so third point. Like, sorry.
And to be honest, Jordan PSG collab. So if you can, as a brand, be so big that you're now, what do you call it?
Crossing over sports.
You're sponsoring a football club.
Yeah, that's big.
With club, you doing this on the logo, basketball, you're doing this, and you're on a football top.
It's mad. It's mad.
You know what? That's funny though. The PSG and Jordan collab, like it was so unexpected.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling that at first. In terms of someone that I'm picky about branding, collabs and stuff. For me, that didn't run. But what made it run is the designs that they made together, the colorways that came out. It made me a bit want to get like the duality of life.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to end this podcast, guys. Make sure you let us know your top 3 in the comments. Your top 3 of the best athletes of all time or sports people. We'd like to know if Mako is happy with the pilot, we're happy with the pilot. It will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. Big up yourself. Take care. Cuando yo te toco te vuelvo loca, oh baby, me pongo duro como roca, oh baby, créeme que no me vas a olvidar.